Hey YouTube, Gundam here. Welcome back to Space Engineers, where today I am doing an update on my Paltek class Super Heavy Battleship. I've got a lot of work to go, but I just thought it'd be a good time to do an update because I gotta do stuff in various other things. So yeah, so this is what I have. First off, you'll note this coloring that goes all around. This entire section has been added in. Here's the original deck. This section has been added in as raised deck. You see in a lot of ships there's some raised section. The rest is supposed to be smooth, but this is raised up. So it's this entire section. It's pretty big. It goes all the way to just past that blue, and yes, I added some blue. No, I have not made any changes to the bottom. But you're wondering, what are these windows supposed to be for? Well, if you said that secondary flight control bridge, congratulations, you win a prize. The prize is you're smarter than other people. But yeah, this is the secondary flight control bridge. I've not worked on the bottom. I intend to put a secondary main bridge on the bottom. How's that for some... what the... Yep. Other than that, I've got nothing done on the trench, nothing done for the majority of it, but I've added some stuff. So this is what we're going to do. First off, shield generators. There's a few of them. These shield generators, again, are identical in size to those on the Imperial Star Destroyer. However, the Imperial Star Destroyer only has 2. There's 4 right there. But that's not all there are. Not even close. Yeah. So far, there are 16 on this thing. And I'm nowhere near done building it. Now, obviously, besides this, I've added some guns. But this is the, you'd think it's the main bridge, right? I mean, it's pretty big. It's nice in the area that the other main bridges are supposed to be. And it kind of looks like one. Except, there's no real control panel. Control port. There's the areas to watch terminals, but what about that? This isn't the bridge. This is flight control for the fighters. And down there is the secondary flight control. This is the main bridge. Oh, okay. This is the main bridge. It's underneath. And it definitely gives more of the shape. That's an airlock that I added in just for easy access. That's not really supposed to be there, but then again. And the bridge is recessed back a bit into the ship. You see, it's barely sticking out here, but that's just, it's supposed to be heavy armor. I didn't do that because I want to worry about weight. But there's also supposed to be, it's supposed to be solid glass, or multiple pieces with a little vacuum in between them so it doesn't fog over or something. But just glass that's thick and a durable type of glass, or a polymer or something. But there's a lot of it. And that's the bridge. Remember, this ship is supposed to have been completed before the Battle of Yavin. And these guns were put on here from the Imperial 2, yes. But the main engines were and the interdiction sphere, the gravity generator, excuse me, were put onto later ships, Super Star Destroyer ships. The engines were put on the Executor. It's just Space Engineers, requires them to be blue instead of red. And the gravity generator, size 4, is supposed to be put on everybody's favorite other superstar destroyer, the Eclipse. Now this is the firepower. Remember, these are supposed to be identical in size to an Imperial 2. And I'm going to be having to add some later on to something over there. In the meantime, this is what's covering the main bridge. You have laser cannons, part of the point defense. You have obviously a ton of octuplets. You've got turbo lasers that'll only shoot to the side intentionally, and you have Gatling guns to shoot at pesky fighters. And I am not done. There's just some of the weapons. I've got more to go. I need to stick on heavy turbo lasers as well, and concussion missiles, proton torpedoes, yada yada yada. In the meantime, I've got more to view. More weapons, and one thing you will see. Besides the fact I've got a lot more to go. The hangar. Let me show you the hangars right now. This, again, is the... I moved the ship forward, so everything's kind of like messed up. It's a game glitch. Well, it's a mod glitch. This stuff is floating, but it's actually not registered here. This is actually supposed to be still where it is. It's just a glitch. So yeah. So you've got the big ball here that's supposed to shoot everything, like the Lardy gunship, only way bigger. And no, that is not supposed to be the thing from the HVAT or SPA. I forget that big laser thing that was on Geonosis that shut down the core ships in Attack of the Clones. That is what this model is, but well, that walker is about as big as one of these blocks, okay? And that's a huge walker. Okay, maybe more than one, but it's, yeah. So this is just a stand-in thing, so yeah. So, I have put connectors where there are supposed to be fighters. I want you to try to calculate, because I have no idea, not at this time, how many fighters. Where you see a connector is where there's supposed to be packed with fighters in that area when it is heading off to battle. It's on patrol. It's packed with fighters and other support craft. So here, only the top here is the top and bottom there, and here, and again, look at the size, and here, again, glitch. Here, the maintenance area is also supposed to be carrying fighters because they're gonna lose some, you'd expect. Here, only the top. Here, only the top. But here, top and bottom the whole way. Then that's the big one there. Because by having this design, they can launch a ton rapidly. This is only the one to allow for going through. Only the top here. That screen here is the middle of the ship, by the way. But this area, by the way, there is also this. This area is only fighters. That's all it's packed with. And yeah. So that's a lot of fighters, isn't it? Just try to calculate how many fighters, because I have no idea. Now, one thing you probably are wondering is, what is this ugly thing around the gravity well generator? What this is just... Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention the weapons here. But first, gravity well generator. The gravity well generator has armor blocks. Just armor plating is supposed to be sticking up. Ugly, yes, but it does not interfere with the use of the gravity well. What it does do is protect it. And also it's supposed to be a bit of a dome going in. I just haven't done that yet. But yeah, it's supposed to protect it. Not completely covering it, but it does protect it. It's spaced armor with tons of shields for the entire ship. Now, weapons. Again, each octuplet is supposed to be 2 scale to an Imperial 2. That's a lot of octuplets. And those there are laser cannons, and those up there are turbo lasers, and these are the Gatling guns. That's a lot of firepower on the back of the ship. I know what you're thinking. You can't hit somebody forward. I know, you can't. That's intended to defend the ship. And there's some more guns on the back. And again, these are turbo lasers, not laser cannons. And I am not done putting in weapons. I actually think I might just take out some of these thrusters to deal with the lag, because this is ridiculous. But yeah. This is just what's sitting on the end of the ship to protect the gravity well generator and the back of the ship. And there's also more underneath. There's a lot more underneath. But no, these are not supposed to be shooting that way. Those are supposed to be shooting this way. These are supposed to be shooting down there. So yeah. Now, one of the biggest changes I've added recently is this. I know what you're thinking. What the heck is it? It kind of looks like a hole. It is. And I'm not done with it. It's just, you know, glitches, lag, blah, 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 blah. But I'm working on it. So, what does it look like to you? Kind of odd. And oddly shaped, and it seems like it's going in, and then it's supposed to go to merger blocks there. Well, if you've seen, and again, these engines are, the big engines here are executor engines, but the ship is only a third the size of an executor. But this is what's supposed to be there. And, you know, boop, boop, oops. floating turbo laser, everybody. So this is supposed to be a good old Imp Star Deuce. For those that aren't really Star Wars fans, Imp Star Deuce is Imperial Star Destroyer 2. Imp Star Deuce, Imperial Star Destroyer 2. So yeah. Now, when it's docked, it's supposed to be off, but if I turn this off, because it's merger blocks, by having merger blocks, it moves as one solid unit. And when I copy and paste this into Steam Workshop, you'll get this to get an exact idea in the size. Imperial Star Destroyer, I'm going to change that to Imperial 2 Star Destroyer later on. So yes, that's what it is. It's supposed to be for you to get one of those behemoths inside. Now, anyone who knows me knows I enjoy, oops, I need the other yellow. The yellow, by the way, are just supposed to be the docking clamps. It's not, no, that's supposed to be yellow. But yeah. Now, bing! That's too much. Yep. So, about here. That's good. On the other? Yes, it is. Okay. You know me. If I make a video, I always actually continue my build while I'm making the video. And I'd come like this. Ding! And come like this. Ding! And I put a hatch. I'm supposed to be flying in, but you know it's not going to be easy, but sure. Just so it's easier for me to actually do stuff. This hatch, I suppose there needs to be an airlock somewhere, but yeah. So, the Imperial 2 sitting inside. I suppose it could be more forward, but closing, it's good enough. It doesn't need to be perfect. So, by having this here, that really connects it, and then you have this middle group, and then this outer group, all to secure the ship and make sure it stays attached. Now, disadvantages, it slows down the ship, and yes, when there's something docked, this is supposed to be turned off. I'm not going to go through the code to do that. And if one turns off, these two are supposed to be linked to each other. If one turns off, the other turns off. The advantages of this is, this ship would be fast in hyperspace. This thing, I mean, it's quick, but not that fast. So, advantages, it carries more firepower. Now, what if this isn't an Imperial? What if it were a Tector or a Dominator? Those wondering, the Dominator is an Imperial Star Destroyer that is turned into an Interdictor. The Immobilizer 418 is the interdiction cruiser from Star Wars Rebels with Thrawn. And that's how Admiral Constantine got killed. A Dominator, the Immobilizer 418 has 2 level 1, 2 level 2 interdiction spheres. Dominator has 2 level 2 and 2 level 3 interdiction spheres. This thing has 1 level 4 interdiction sphere. Level 4 is the same as on the Eclipse. Okay? So, much bigger area. It's way bigger. Way more power. The other one will only be about that big. Now, by having this here, you can easily see the size of an Imperial to the hangar. That is a good reason for why I did this. Another reason is, well, it actually makes sense if it can carry it. Do you think Snoke had built his ship to do that because he thought of it? No. The Executor took ideas from this ship. The Eclipse took ideas from this ship. Snoke and his was it mega class, super class, idiot class as far as I'm concerned. He took ideas from this ship. Everyone took ideas from this ship class, the Paltek. That's what I'm saying. That's my legends. I'll make a more story later when I actually finish the ship. So yeah, this gives a very obvious idea of the size of the two ships. The octuplets are the same and the shield generators are the same. Difference? One of the differences besides size is quantity. The quantity of octuplets, the quantity of shield generators. And again, I will reiterate it 1,000 times and you'll get annoyed. I am nowhere near done. Now look at this from the front. From the front, it's like, boop. You barely notice. And I'm going to leave the other side open, by the way. I'm just going to have this one here. So that side's going to remain open. But yeah. So the Paltek class Super Heavy Battleship Carrier. It's this battleship carrier because it's a battleship because of the sheer amount of shields and guns it's going to have. And, yeah, these. But it's a carrier because it holds a ton of fighters and it carries other ships. Now, Snoke's ship can do it a little better and have more of the ship attached. His goes to a third of the way or more of a resurgence. It might be able to get the whole thing given the size of the thing. Get an entire resurgence in there. This, it's barely in. And I know what you're thinking. That's kind of close to that thing. Yeah, it is. Except for this is supposed to be connected for there. Or no, it's not. It is connected there. That's right. I did move it. Yeah, there is some room here. So, you know, given the size of this thing, it's not a small amount. There's supposed to be the support stuff and all that for this thing right here. So, yeah. Not bad. Yeah. So the Imperial only sticks into, well, it's about here, right there. So it sticks in a bit, but it's not that much. And again, I want you to try to calculate the fighters. Remember, that thing carries 72 TIE fighters, but look at the size of that hangar, and that hangar only goes forward and back. That hangar is all around. Then there's connectors, and then this is over here, but there's two of them, and look at the size. It's difficult with it being back like this, so I'm going to try to pull it forward. I mean, pull it back, excuse me. I'll be right back. Right, that took a little longer than I thought. I just had to relog. But, yeah. Look at the size of that. Look at the size of these. It's easier when it's got the green. Modify this, put some green as well, so yeah, we'll see. Yes, we'll just do it. These are how big? 8 by. It's a cube. Well, the guy kind of screwed up. This is not my build again. I'll say that again. It's not my build, but you know nobody's perfect, so that's fine. Oh wait, I need a 7, don't I? There. That actually looks a little better. So, that's the size of that thing's hangar to that thing. But again, the hangar for this only goes a little bit back and a little bit forward. Look at the size of the hangar on that thing. And this surrounds it and then goes over. And then it surrounds this. And yeah, it's over there, not in the middle here. And then it goes back, connects all the way to another one here. And here. And there's a little something here as well. So, what do you think? If the regular Imperial Star Destroyer holds 72 fighters, how many does this thing hold? Because I'm saying that this easily is 300. Probably 4. So what about this? Because this goes farther here and has room around, and there's a bit of there, and all that, and then there's all this and that. it's got to be over 2,000. Which is why I say it's a battleship carrier now. A super heavy battleship carrier. Super heavy because it's really big and really heavy, and it has a ton of guns, a ton of shields, a ton of fighters, and even carries other ships. And is the prototype for a lot of other Imperial ships. Prototype equipment for Executor, Eclipse Superstar Destroyer, or the Super Laser, and a bunch of other stuff. And took other technology that was really good, like the Lardy's big ball turrets, and expanded on them. And decided, you know what, we're going to make sure to have anti-fighter and anti-capital firepower everywhere. How many ships have that much firepower on the back? Most ships, even the Executor, I think, doesn't have that much firepower on the back. Cry out loud. And I'm not done. I've got a lot of work to do. Again, the reactor is supposed to be antimatter. It's supposed to be kyber crystal enhanced main reactor and secondary reactors. So yeah, so we can get away with it. This was the first ship really to use kyber crystals. Again, before the Battle of Yavin. Its battle group really just consisted of this thing and a couple of others. That was enough. A couple of these things rather. That was enough. However, if this was built as a actual functioning model, running model for production model, before the Battle of Yavin, and somebody got authorization to build more, by the time of Endor, a few years later, because it doesn't take very long to build an Imperial Star Destroyer. People think it does. They built Venators in 3 months. Now, an Imperial's way bigger. Well, it's not that much longer, but it is bigger. Definitely. Look at the things, but 3 months for a Venator, so 6 months for an Imperial. So 2 years for one of these. Boy, if you're making a whole bunch of them simultaneously, you can still get them done in the same 2 years, because Kuat drive yards is huge. If you say we're going to take this section of Kuat drive yards, or this section of this Kuat drive yards underling, and that's going to be for making these, how many could you build? If the production time is only 2 years, and 6 months for that thing, and 3 months for a Venator, 2 years for this, and you can build any number that they assign. If somebody said, let's build 20, you build 20 in 2 years. If it's 50, it's 50 in 2 years. They just assign more or less, depending. Now, why would someone be able to get away with it? Well, because the stuff that he prototypes keeps working insanely well. And of course, if there's a version of this ship, there should be a flagship version as well. Like how Thrawn's Chimera is his flagship. It's an Imperial 2 on steroids. Same thing with this. So, I will eventually upload this thing to the Steam Workshop so you can download it. And I'm going to keep this on it. So you can see an Imperial 2 in direct comparison to this. Because it's literally going to be attached to it when you download. Enjoy. Once I eventually get it. But the problem is it's taking a few minutes to load the game. My computer isn't as good as I thought it was. I'm going to try lowering the settings, and yeah, I'm going to keep going. So, yeah. Enjoy. And try to tell me, based on what you know of the fighters, how many fighters do you think this thing can have? If where the connectors were only on the top, it just has them in the roof in that little section. But if it's on the bottom as well, then it's just basically covered in fighters. How many fighters can this thing have? If that's how big that is. And this is how big this is. How many fighters? Catch you later.